We begin at BNSF's Argentine Yard, where we see an SD60M and SD40-2 switching. On a westbound train is a BNSF SD70 Ace and a Dash 9 now owned by Norfolk Southern. Originally built in 1998 as BNSF 4859, it was sold to Kansas City Southern alongside other Dash 9s in 2021. 4415 was its KCS number until Norfolk Southern acquired these units in late 2023. Norfolk Southern has had some of these BNSF Orange units rebuilt into AC44 C6Ms with new cabs, but 3926 has yet to be rebuilt. IRTX 7053 is an ex-Canadian National GP9U that has been switching the Argentine Auto Terminal since 2013. Here are some reefers in the middle of an intermodal train. They do sometimes run on BNSF intermodals, but they tend to be towards the front. Parked by the control tower are two ex-Santa Fe B40-8Ws, one of which is number 504. 2792 is an ex-Santa Fe GP39-2, and 1971 is an ex-BN SD40-2, originally allocated to Colorado and Southern. At the fuel racks is where my camera begins to lose focus. 4340 is a C44-9W, while 6572 is an ES44C4. My camera was able to focus on these two BN green cabooses and this Warbonnet Dash 9 with Power Fork CPKC transfer job. These stored Dash 9s haven't moved since my last visit to Argentine Yard. 9189 is an SD70 Ace, with the area around its number cleaner than the rest. BNSF 1968 is an SD40-2 still in BN green. You can still see its old BN number 6361. BUGX 7520 is an SD40M-2, which is also still here from the last time. It's an XSP unit. On the UP side of the Kansas River near 18th Street is some stored freight cars, including a damaged CP auto rack. UP's Armourdale Yard doesn't have locomotives parked by the turntable anymore, and many of the tracks are empty. I did see this eastbound loaded coal train ascend the grade to Santa Fe Junction. There was also a KCS doubleheader pulling a grain train on the Falls City sub towards Hiawatha and most likely Omaha. Stopped outside of Neff Yard on Track 3 was this intermodal. There are also two cuts of hoppers outside of Knoche Yard. Some ex-UP SD9043 Max with CP markings were stored in Knoche Yard. Canadian Pacific purchased 40 of these UP units in 2021 to be rebuilt into SD70 ACUs. CPKC is building a US operations center at Knoche Yard, but I don't know if it will replace one of the downtown buildings. There seems to be more Canadian Pacific power here than before the merger. GEVO's CP8757 and KCS 4819 sit coupled together. CPKC is painted on this storage tank, and some SD30C Ecos sit at the sand towers along with ex-BNSF SD70 Max. Savage 8720 is an ex-CSX SD60 built in 1989 for Conrail and sold to LTEX in 2017. PRLX 1528 is an SW1500 originally built for the Terminal Railroad Association of St. Louis. This CBFX SW1500 is of unknown origins. Some other former CSX units are also at Mid-America Car Inc. These two are GP38-3s. Milwaukee Road Car 170 was once in Stowell Yard in Milwaukee with other passenger cars, which ended up in Kansas City around 2000. Some of the cars sat in Knoche Yard until 2014, and one sleeper was near Union Station until 2017. By the grain elevator was the single well car with the CP container, probably for publicity photos of the first CPKC locomotives and CPKC containers a month later. I also spotted this KCS Gray G. KCS Gray is a rare sight nowadays, but will KCS Southern Bell units like the SW1500 become just as rare in 2044? I also saw these old CP flat cars now in MOW service. These cars have DME markings and date from 1960. In Neff Yard, some auto racks, boxcars, and ballast hoppers were being stored in the old hump bowl. There are also some SD-70 Aces being stored alongside older wide cab units. I believe some were scrapped on the site later in the year. The intermodal train from earlier was blocking the crossing, but under Chestnut Traffic Way was an old cotton belt hopper. I've never seen one with the blue logo before. Just west of I-29 near ASB Junction is Casey Kern's new stadium, CPKC Stadium. Near its gravel parking lot with painted lines and expensive fees are the tracks to ASB Bridge in the foreground, followed by 3 tracks connecting Knoche and Neff Yards. When CPKC Stadium opened, CPKC gave the stadium their own mini-train. I figured they would do that since their own similar mini-train, the Little General, was not scheduled to appear in Kansas City in 2024. I did see mini-train 9381 along the Puffer Belly Express mini steam train when 2816 was on display in May 18th. An extension of the KC streetcar to the Riverfront and CPKC Stadium is under construction and expected to be open in 2026 in time for the World Cup.